Hi, I'm here, but I'm not going on camera because it's Sunday, I'm in my comfies, and you don't really want to see me, you just want to see me make these wax melts. I'm going to use my paw mould silicone because it's easy to wash, keep clean, and store afterwards. You can roll them in a ball, you can do whatever you like, but they are really good, and you can steam clean them as well to get all the wax out of them when you've finished. So that's my preference. We're going to create today happy tails, and I'm going to create a doggy bag, which is individual paw wax melts. I'm going to decorate them with homegrown botanicals and home dried botanicals. These are just from last year. I picked them the minute that they kind of bloomed. If you pick them fresh like that, they will keep the colour. If you tend to like pick them after a few days when the colour's like fading out of there and all the I don't know, I don't know how it does it and the science behind it all and stuff like that, but that is the best way to do it. Pick them fresh, maintains the colour. So anything purple in my garden, I show in there. So there's bluebells in there, and I can't remember what they're called. It'll come to me. And then we've got lavender, which I grow lavender in the garden. You can see the oldest ones at the bottom when I first started doing it, but we're going to use the top of them. And they're just for decoration. They won't make it smell any different. It's purely just decorative. The happy tails I'm going to use in the doggy bag, the doggy paw for the doggy bags, is called happy tails because you can use it around pets. It calms pets and it has the same kind of calming influence on a human as it does the pet. So it's good all round really, but it's got lavender in it, chamomile, and I can't remember everything else, but it has got those two ingredients that have got calming influence on your pet and for yourself. So I just thought, right, let's use that. I'm going to try, this is new, I use these wax little pellets, that's my preference. The Eco, I've always used Eco Cocoa, and it's biological, it's biodegradable, but for this one wax melt I'm going to try a new EcoOlive. So this is all like made from olive oil, and it has a very, very slight background aroma, but nothing awful like soy, a very, very fatty smell. When you burn soy wax melts, which I've, I'd experienced before, you get like, once the fragrance is gone, you're literally warming up the wax behind it when the fragrance is just burnt off, and it's an awful smell and I really don't like it. But that's just me. I'm not saying can't use soya because it is a natural choice, but I'm trying this. It's new on the market, EcoOlive, so we're going to try this. And I'm going to start by weighing out 200 grams. So I'm going to do it in real time and you will see the edited version, but I'll use this cup to weigh out, oh, wait a minute, actually. I'll put the jug on there. Mils. That's it. We're going to weigh it in grams. There we go. So I'm going to try 200. I'm going to make as many of the paws as I can with 200 grams of the olive wax. 200 on the nose. There we go. There we have 200. I always weigh it in the Pyrex jug because I'm going to put the Pyrex jug into the microwave to heat it up to 70 degrees. And that's what that's for. So we can test it, keep warming it up, get it up there. If it goes slightly over, I cool it down, and then we add the fragrance oil at 65 degrees and I pour it at 60. So let me get the units again. There we go. Grams. Because I've used 200 grams of wax, we're going to use 10% of the oil. So that's 20 grams of Happy Tails. There we go. 20 grams. Tighten that up. Pop it over there. Won't need to use that again. And it's literally that much inside there. It smells absolutely gorgeous. It really does. And I'm not just saying that. It really is a scent that I would use. And it's probably one of those fragrances where you can just light your wax melt and chill. Even because it's for chilling, and it does relax you kind of thing. There's ingredients in there that do relax you. I think that would be, it's just the whole package. Do you know what I mean? It's when you want to chill, I always like my wax melts. It goes hand in hand. But I think if you weren't already ready to relax and stuff like that, then you soon would be with the smell of this. Absolutely, definitely. And I say absolutely quite a lot, I have noticed. So I've got my silicone moulds. I'm not going to put any lavender into those. I want them completely clear. I'm going to decorate the tops of these because they are going to be sold individually. I'm going to put them in craft bags, not of that size scale, but obviously if you want to order something in a bag as big as that, that's up to you. But I am going to sell them in 5s and 10s. So I want them individually decorated. So I'm just going to pop this in the microwave now. I'll start about 2 minutes because the microwave is cold, and you will find that when you are making wax melt, the more you use your microwave once after the other, less and less time that you need to warm your wax or your oils or anything like that, because it does seem to get hotter. Right, I'm going to turn the thermometer on. This is just from Amazon, couple of quid. Brilliant little piece of equipment, because it's so important that you do have your temperatures just right, really, because that will give you the best results. So we wait, as you can see, all the way down there into the microwave. You've got your clear Pyrex jug and your wax, so you know it's not ready if there's unmelted wax in there. So we can watch it from afar anyway. So this bag, I'll just talk about the wax while I bought this. I think it's a 2 kilo bag, and this is the first time I've used it. And you get, that's pretty much 2 kilos there, minus 200 grams. And it's not really made that much of an impact on the amount inside. So it is quite cost effective, and it's one of the cheapest and one of the most ecological and with the most reduced carbon footprint as well. When you look at how they source it, it's very, very sustainable, with it being olive. Olives are grown all around the world now. It's not just Italian olives, but you can Spanish olives, but they're so easy to get, and they grow in abundance as well. So let me just check this. Right, I know from experience that if that was Eco Cocoa, yeah, then I'd be putting it back in. But seeing as though it's a new wax, and I don't know how it melts and how fast and how high the temperature goes up to, I'm just going to check it now. It's going up to 47, 50, see? It was only in 2 minutes and it's already soaring. I don't want to burn it. I don't want to take it up the temperatures up too high. We're on 60 degrees now, so I was probably right to take it out when I did. 63 and climbing. It's important. You can't just guesstimate. You've got to get it absolutely right. Otherwise, it impairs the smell, the fragrance throw. Even when it's cold, you won't get a good smell. 67. I think if we do have to put it in, it's going to be for something so minimal. We're up to 68. And in comparison with the coconut, it is coconut oil that I've always used up till now. This has got a lovely yellow tint to it. So I think if you was going to use any wax for anything, like your sunnies, like lemons and stuff like this, then this is probably one of the most natural colours as well to get that, you know, that yellow tint without using any dyes. You can get biodegradable glitters and stuff like that now, but I tend to leave that alone. I like to use my botanicals, and I'm happy with that. I'm just going to waz this back in for 10 seconds at a time until I get to 70, because it's stopped climbing and I don't want it to. I've got to be very careful that it doesn't get too hot too quick. So we'll try it again. Just leave that door open. To be honest, that's something I've always done. With the warmth inside the microwave now, I always pop my oil in there, never unnaturally, kind of, I don't know what the word is, but I never force heat on the oil. I don't like to pour it in cold because it drastically drops the temperature of the wax, and it doesn't seem to, I don't know, I've always, when I first tried that, I got a very slimy, it was very, the wax felt very unsolid. It was still very soft to the touch, even though it was in that chunk form. I didn't like it. There we go, absolutely amazing. That by just 10 seconds I've just brought it up to 70.7. so I'm just gonna keep stirring it to let it go round, because the difference between using like a wax warmer, where you can, they look like a big vat, like almost like a slow cooker kind of thing, like a kettle, and you can digitally warm it up to a certain temperature, and it won't go over that, and then you turn it off and pour it at the exact temperature you want, which is fantastic. But I haven't got the space, I haven't got the funds, and to be quite honest, I'm happy with the little microwave here. Although microwaves aren't really consistent with, you get your hot spots in a microwave because it kind of cooks from the inside out. So the middle will be hot and the outside is cool. Pretty much like a bowl of soup when you pour your bowl of soup and you take it from the edges. So it's important to keep it going and blend to get that temperature all the way through. And you don't whisk it, because if you're introducing air bubbles, you're going to get a not very good result with leaving the science and all that out of it. So we're just going to stir it now. Sometimes, because this is kind of like heating the bottom of the thing, of the worktop, I usually move it to a cooler spot as well. I think that helps it. But we're just going to let this naturally cool down till we get to 65, and that's when the oil will come out of the microwave. It's not been artificially heated, forced, it's just in a warm microwave, and it'll be naturally heated by what's left, with the heat that's left in there. And we'll take that out of there, we'll pour it in here, and we'll mix till it gets to 60 degrees, and it'll be pouring time. Right, here we go. I'm still stirring. We've gone, it really does cool down quite fast. You don't have to wait long taking that out of there, and it's time to pour in your fragrance oil. I pour it in all at once, and I just make small circles to get that fragrance oil blended in and for it to adhere. It sticks to it. It like binds to the wax, and that's what we want. We don't want to just chuck the oil in, give it a little twist like that, and then that's enough. No, it's not, because you're going to get fragrance spots, and then you're going to get some wax melts then that don't have as much fragrance in, and it'll just spoil the batch that you've made. So we're going to bring it down to 60 degrees centigrade and just pour as much oil as will come out of that pot. Some people, I have actually seen people with hair dryers that warm up what's left in the pot to get as much out, but I can't see the point, to be honest, because it's not going to make a massive difference, and then you're artificially heating it again, so you're going to get you know, different temperature oil being introduced into an already cooling wax with oil. So I don't bother doing that, but each to their own, and if they get a good result, that's up to them. But I prefer just to let it just naturally fall out the pot, and when it's done, it's done. I'm sniffing now because that's what I do. So we're just going to go like that and keep stirring. We're now at 61 degrees, so at 60 we'll be ready to pour into the moulds. There we go. We've just got that there. It's now ready to pour. It's at 60 degrees, which is the ideal pouring temperature for this wax. I'm just going to fill each cavity with the oil. Careful not to overspill, but also I'm going to tell you why it looks like I'm pouring just that little bit extra in, because once the wax solidifies, it shrinks back, so you will get less. It'll look like you've not filled it at all properly. So I'm just going to fill it up, and then we go back to it and just try and just pour enough so it just overfills slightly without spilling over, because we have to allow for that shrink back. That's gone a bit too much, but I'm really not bothered about that, to be honest, because I will be testing a couple, and I can always use a couple of the ones I've overfilled for testing, because that's what I do with every melt. If I make something, it will always be tested first. If I'm happy with the scent, cold throw and hot throw, then I know that you'll be happy with it, because I made Flower Boom. Now that is a dupe of I can't think what he's called. Is it Rolf and something and Rolf? Flower Bloom, yeah. And I made a dupe, and I burned it yesterday after not smelling it for ages, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's not an overpowering smell like the fragrance is, because I've never really liked the fragrance, the actual perfume, because I found it very, very highly scented. But this one, the dupe, the wax melt, if you like the smell but can't wear it, get the wax melt, because your house will smell stunning. It wasn't overpowering. It stayed at one level the whole burning period, and it was one of those. I used chunky tea light, which I like to use, the soy ones, never petroleum, never what they called paraffin, because it's just petrol really, and you're introducing harmful toxins into your home. I never used that. It was a soy wax tea light, and it was one of those 8-hour burn, and it stayed on 8 hours, and only when that flame went out of the tea light did the fragrance stop kind of like wafting round, but you could smell it when I came downstairs this morning and in my living room, and it's so lovely. It really is lovely. You do need to try them, to be honest. You need to, if you like a scent, try the wax, because it's, you know, nothing to lose really. So we've poured the Paws. We've got from 200 grams, we've managed to make 15 and a little tester. There is one that's just a little bit misshapen, but I think once the actual wax is solidified and I turn it through, then that shape will be, it'll be there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I can use the more overfilled ones just for testers, and I will do, and that little one. So you get 15 good Paws out of 200 grams and 20 grams of fragrance oil. So that is really good value. I'm going to sell them, like I said, 5s, 10s, and if you want more, then I'm sure we can come to a price or whatever for the basic wax, oil, my time ratio, and any of the labels and stuff like that. People say might be a bit too expensive, but at the end of the day, we're using top quality products. We're not using oils with phthalates in. We're not using oils with all the toxic chemicals that can make you really poorly. If you ever buy cheap waxes from, say, a supermarket where they're £1 each, then you know, you're gonna literally light and warm up something with crude oil that is made from crude oil. That crude oil makes petrol for your car. So that is what you've got in the background of that wax. If you've ever, and I'm not going to say the name for like a legal reason really, but a certain popular wax and candle brand, I bought a candle, I put my granddaughter to bed, and I still had it lit. It was rose scented. I'd been gifted it for Mother's Day, and I blew it out. We went to sleep, and when I woke up, that baby had black soot round her nostrils, and I've never touched the brand since. I found out they used paraffin wax, and that's why they're not cheap, but that's why they're made cheaply. And the oils they use, you can get every fragrance under the sun, and you'll find the berries, and I'm not sure, I've never really not understood the science behind it, but the berries, if it's a strawberry or a raspberry or something with strawberry in it, then they're just full of phthalate, which is like a chemical that affects your hormones. And that's something for you to Google, because it's another story, but I won't touch it. It's just something that I just can't understand why people use it, because with my wax range, there's no need, because I've got 90 different scents now, 90 different, and if you can't find something you like out of that, then I'm not really sure what you're looking for. Someone asked me for dewberry, which is like a very big 80s, like 90s smell, isn't it? But no, full of phthalates, because it's a berry, and I'm like I said, I'm not sure about the science behind it, but I won't touch it with a barge pole, so it's not for me. There are a lot of things that go into waxes, fragrance oils, that are really unnecessary just for the sake of a fragrance, and I just would not release that into my environment, not for my pets, and certainly not for the children, my grandchildren especially. You know, I remember getting headaches as well, you know, like before I got into kind of making my own wax melts and stuff, and you're thinking, oh, this one's £6, this one's £1, I'll have 5 of them, thank you. You know what I mean? It's like, but you don't understand exactly what you're harming your environment and things like that. But once you actually know what's in them, I'd cheerfully, honestly, buy the £6 one and enjoy it, rather than release that into the cheaper one into my environment. I used to get headaches. It can affect your mood, because obviously nobody wants a headache. You don't feel very good when you've got one. Anyway, this is starting to solidify, I need to make sure that each one of them has a little decoration on, and it's not one of them, unless I use tweezers, they're not the kind of decoration that you can be absolutely bob on with lavender. It kind of has a mind of its own, but I'm going to put a little pinch of lavender into each one, on top of each one, and I know it's ready for it because you can see on the outsides that it's like a lighter creamy white, and the middle is still yellowy. So I know the middle is still quite soft, and I can press this botanical decoration into the middle, and it'll stay there, hopefully. And if it doesn't, well, there's worse things happen, but that's what I'm doing. And I'm not being too fussy about how much, how little. Has this got more on? Is that over to the left or right? It really doesn't matter. I think the more random, the better. I really do, because it just looks so lovely. And I've brought this down because I've not used these yet, but I thought, I wonder if, I know these come off individually, and I'm just going to push. I can't remember what they're called, and you know, it's not stock, it's something else, but I think I'll post it on my page when I've googled, because I've got that many different flowers growing in my garden, because I'm addicted to gardening. I love flowers, I love plants, I love planting up. I've got all my bulbs ready and they're all poking through, all the crocuses, snowdrops, tulips, as you would, and the bulbs are already thinking. So I'm just chucking pretty much what it is. I'm pushing, don't have to push too heavily because the wax is soft, and like, I'd say, what's it like when you push it through? You know, like ice, if you push too thin, it'll just go right through. But they are absolutely stunning, and they are safe for your little doggies and your pussycats. We have 5 cats, 2 dogs, and a tank full of fish. And I wouldn't want any of them to suffer because of my indulgence of liking wax melts, and I wouldn't want to have, you know, I certainly wouldn't want to sell them to somebody knowing that these might make you ill, you know, and your family or whatnot. But look how beautiful they are, and it's been such a minimum effort, really. I've only been waffling on. I wouldn't normally talk while I do this. I'd just get them done. But I enjoy it and I love them. They look absolutely gorgeous. Just going to put a little bit. This is it, you see. You just put a little bit on, and you can always add. You can always add 2. But they're safe for your pets. They're safe for you. You just light up. Put a little bit of a scented one of these scented waxes, using a natural tea light such as soy, and let me have a look. I don't want to overdo it, over egging the pudding. No, they're absolutely bob on and I love them. So I'm going to leave those now. Push that in. Don't forget to give them when you're making them, don't forget just to press, because they will stick too, and the wax will form around it, and they should stay there then. But they look gorgeous, and I'm dead happy with the way that they've turned out. Once they've set, I'll leave them a couple of hours easily before I even think about taking them out of the mould. And once they're cooled down, we'll just, with it being silicone, you just pop them out of the mould by pushing up underneath. The paw design will be underneath, and these will be decorated on the top. and they will be ready then to go into a doggy bag of either 5 or 10. And I can't tell you how much they're going to be yet because this is my first batch. And I will not know until they're ready and I can weigh them individually. And you will know how much 5 weigh, how much 10 weigh. And then I can calculate then how many how many of those make up, say 200 grams. Is it going to be 200 grams? Is it going to be 100 grams? I don't know. So when I've worked out the prices, I'll let you know. But they're great for gifting. They're great for the pet lover. They're great for you. They're only little paw thingies. It doesn't necessarily mean, well, I haven't got a dog, I haven't got a cat. You don't need one. They're just paw shaped. They're not going to make any difference at all to anyone who hasn't got a pet. But the smell, the fragrance, and all the ingredients in there are just going to calm you down, relax you, or you just sit there or lie in bed and just take on that fragrance and just enjoy it. My personal recommendation is a wax warmer, the electric wax warmer. If you want to use one of the burners with the tea light with a naked flame, that's fine as well. But use a 4-hour, not an 8-hour like I did yesterday. I only put that on because I knew I was going to be at home. I knew that I wanted to test the fragrance for that long period. But the recommendation is the 4-hour burner of a tea light or a wax warmer, a plug-in electric one. And you will get better results, because once if you frantically burn something at high heat, you're going to lose the fragrance quicker, and then you just, you've lost that experience. Then if you warm it up, gently heat it up, within 5 minutes I guarantee you'll be able to smell that from lighting. As soon as it starts to melt, you will get that fragrance. 5 minutes later, and then that will kind of like fill the room, the home. We've got quite a large kitchen living room and it's open plan, and I could smell it throughout that area. When I opened the living room door to the hallway, you could smell it coming through there as well, but it didn't smell overpowering. We had the door open every now and then for the dogs, yeah, fair enough, but we didn't need to. Some things, it's like, wow, just blow it out because it's too strong. You don't need to do that. This is a consistent smell. It doesn't smell stronger at any point. It's a consistent aroma, and it is just enough so you can enjoy it, and it stays there for up to about 20 hours if used with, gentle heat, and you will get the most out of that. You buy a £1 one, you'll guarantee the fragrance will burn out quicker because it's cheap, and you'll get all the background smells and all the nasties with it. So you'll end up using that pack faster because they don't last long. You might as well invest and spend £5.99 on a 6-pack, a 6-chunk pack, which is 100 grams, and you'll get at least 180 hours of fragrance out of one pack, because that one chunk is at least 20 hours. Have I got that right? Is it 22, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 112? What am I thinking, 180? I don't know, but it's 120 hours and it's still a long time. So you're talking, oh my goodness. It's fantastic value. So there you go. I've waffled on, but those melts are now quite solid. I'm not gonna pour them out yet. No, turn them out yet. That will be, sometimes you just have to push it in, but there'll be enough on there already that's already stuck to the wax. So anything that comes off is absolutely fine. but how gorgeous do they look? Absolutely stunning. I'll post a picture of them complete, and then it's up to you. If you want to buy them, you've watched the video. Thank you for watching. Bye.